Welcome to another episode of Queen3 and King. I don't know why the queens are situated in the way that they are situated based on how I add them, but at the end of the day, it don't really matter here. Today's topic is soul ties. Soul ties. I'm sure your minds get to wondering whenever we even mention this topic. It is one of those hot topics over the last few years, as far as I'm concerned. As everybody get to healing from this heartbreak.
Wow.
We just dropped this last album that everybody was talking about on the streets of talking. We talked about it a few weeks ago. What's her name?
Summer Walker.
Yeah, she's Summer Walker. If anybody know her, tell us to tune in. Hey, we can help. We can help you. All right. So now let me introduce my co-host, and we'll dive right into this topic because it should be relatively meaty. Just a little housekeeping at the beginning of the show, and we'll cover it again at the end of the show. This will be our last show of 2021. We will be back on, what is it, January the 4th, Lily?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be back on January the 4th, and we'll probably be discussing those New Year's revolutions. Prince won't be there. So we'll go straight out to Anna, Texas, by way of East Texas. We have Skinny Minnie, Boney Maroney, Darling Nikki, Coco, the Glam Mall herself. Talk to the people, Queen.
Hey, family and friends. How are you guys today?
Oh, she added that friends today.
Yeah, I got some friends on here.
Yeah, I didn't hear no congestion. The headband wig is coming on through today. She went with the straight.
One more week, that's it.
The straight number 18. But don't you worry, the holidays are coming.
Yes.
All right, and the next. Still embroiled in some controversy out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. The controversy got real ugly because one of the judges was an Oklahoma State fan, and Oklahoma State just got upset by Baylor. So it's real ugly right now, and it's gotten personal. So, we don't want to really talk about it much. But she is by way of East Garland as well. She's the educator. So-called Queen Bee,
Yikes.
Amoeba. What up, Queen?
Good evening, everybody. So glad to see y'all.
Are you still
hopeful of 2021?
Are you still hopeful that you're gonna get your title?
Oh, it's mine in the name of Jesus.
It's mine. Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
maybe you should.
Just thank him for it in advance.
I did. It's already.
Maybe you should invest in some. Maybe you should invest in some Thoke lozenges. To clear up that congestion over there.
I've been suffering for a minute.
Who says throat since you want to be grown on here? Who says throat?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I hope she on here.
I'm a comedian, so I just kind of talk in those terms from time to time. All right. And last but not least, we got the baby queen, Lee, Mama Lee, Blake Mama, and Blake been making her earn her money this week. Talk to the people, Queen.
Hey, y'all, send help, please. I'm blinking twice. Send help to my house.
That brother don't care about nobody.
Nikki and King Doc just saw him get in trouble before the show started. Right. So, it's a lot.
It's December the 14th, and he had already been threatened with Santa Claus. So, shit, I don't know if that's gonna last 11 more days. So we'll see.
This morning it's 11 days to Christmas, and I said, "You down 2 toys?" So.
I got an idea. We don't. Unfortunately, he's listening, so I shouldn't say this. But all you got to do is threaten to reduce his summer sausage rations, and maybe that. I bet
right. That'll work.
See, you can leave my baby alone behind his lunch.
He gotta eat. That's all he eat.
All right, we got cousin Gail in the.
Hey,
Celebration.
Hi, fam. We got Aunt Rita there. Hey, my beautiful family. How you doing, Aunt?
Hey, Rita.
All right. So let's dive into this soul tie situation. We're gonna start with Mika frequently on this particular topic. For some reason, as I was praying,
as he was praying
and preparing for this topic and seeking the Lord on this,
the Lord put
he said, "Go to Mika first, often, early and often."
That's funny because he ain't told me that.
But that's what we finna see what he tell you. Now let's see what your faith look like. See the word say, just open your mouth and he'll give you the word. So let's see what word is.
What it say?
Okay, so we're gonna start with the type of we're gonna start with the type of question that we always start with, and that's defining or seeing what we mean by a particular topic. So we will start with that. What is meant by soul ties?
I think it's soul tie is somebody that you're connected to sexually.
Okay.
And that you can't, you'll never be able to break from them because you're connected in an intimate way.
Yeah. If anybody know John from Man Talk Mondays, y'all please make sure he's listening today. He may be needed because if Mika gonna jump right into the sex situation on question one. Holla at us, John.
Remind me to tell you about that show last night. That thing was good.
I missed it. I was otherwise predisposed, preparing for my review of A True Story. And I'll go ahead and take time to plug that. If you did not see the forecast last night, you need to watch it. If you have not seen True Story with Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes and Lauren London and a couple of more folks, you need to watch it.
I didn't watch y'all last night on purpose because I need to watch that.
I gotta watch that first.
And then I gotta come back to y'all.
Let me just tell you this: I'm not a Kevin Hart fan. I have not been a Kevin Hart fan. I am now a marginal Kevin Hart fan. He done won me over.
Is he more serious in this role?
Yeah. Most definitely.
I like him playing serious roles.
Okay.
And I think we discussed last night, we believe that he's given us a glimpse of what he's really like in this show. Okay. So it's kind of a play on words, a true story, because it's obvious some of the things in there are false. But, and Wesley Snipes, just like in Coming to America 2, I thought he stole the show in that movie. And I think he does a fantastic job playing this role. And I won't say anything else, but I promise you it is worth your investment. I think it's a 7-part miniseries. And they're only about 30 minutes each. I think the first one is an hour and the rest of them are only 30 minutes. I was able to do it. I watched like a couple episodes Friday night, finished it on Saturday morning very easily, and did not want it to end. That's how good it was.
Wow.
Rita says put Blake. Let's see. Rita said put Blake in a timeout chair. Hold on, I'm having a little technical difficulty here. Put Blake in the timeout chair or corner.
Hey, Rita, he runs over that.
He ain't staying there because K baby sitting right now.
Yeah, and they ain't got no corners big enough. They corners is so they just regular size corners. He needs some commercial corners there.
Because they really don't care.
Let's see. We got Whitney Ashley.
Hey, Whit.
Hey.
What did she say?
Give me a moment. Okay. The true soul ties are real. I'm having some technical difficulties, so if comments are slow to get put up, that's what's happening. I don't know what's going on. Shanique Fuller says facts.
Hey, Shanique.
She says true story is excellent.
That's Sister Nikki, Ted.
Yes.
Call her by the correct name. Sister Nikki.
Yes, that's what I call her.
All right. Grace says, hey, from Layla and her mama. Hey, y'all.
Hey, Layla and her mama.
Let's see. Rita Kev said, what up, fam?
What up, Rita?
So, Mika answered the question about what is meant by soul ties. Lily, on you. What is meant by soul ties?
I think it's an emotional or spiritual connection that doesn't always have to be sexual.
Teach the educator for me.
So that's kind of how I look at it. It just depends on.
She think about it.
It really depends on.
I gave you the primary definition in my head.
Yeah, I know. That's what we're saying. I got it.
Excuse me,
Lord. It really just depends on how you're tied to that person. So a person can be emotionally, spiritually, sexually connected to you. and y'all can exchange those soul ties. So it just depends on how you're connected, but it doesn't have to be sexual.
Right.
Nicole, anything to add on that?
No, I agree with I do agree with what Alicia said. It can be all those things. Every last one of them. Yeah. And Mika, it still can be sexual as well.
But I think sexual heightens it.
It does.
Hiding. Spell hiding right there.
Don't do that.
Don't disappoint State
I
Farm
can,
over there.
but I really think
I got you.
We didn't know how to
spell. When you are dealing with jerks, you overlook that, Mika.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to get that. Have y'all heard that song? I'm a jerk.
You a jerk.
Well, that was wrote about you.
That all weekend. That's gonna be my new theme song.
You don't know the dance? We'll teach you the dance.
I don't care.
Why? Because you've been seeing it on TikTok.
It's jamming. Hell, you know.
Because you saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Y'all need to be following my baby on TikTok.
Plus, I got a good radio in my truck, so it's sound good.
Okay.
Right. So y'all heard the definitions of soul ties. Mika, of course, wanted to make sure everybody was aware that it was connected to sex.
But that's not the only type of soul tie.
That's just her favorite topic.
Yeah.
That's her favorite soul tie.
So soul tie on a more clinical level. Wow.
All right, now. Don't put it out there.
On a more clinical level, the soul tie is a phrase which some people use to refer to a spiritual connection between two people. In many cases, it is said to come into existence after two people have been physically intimate. In others, it is said to form after an intensely close spiritual or emotional relationship. So again, it can be connected to sex, or it can just be an intense connection, right?
So before
I didn't call on you. I saw your hand up. So if you're gonna put your hand up, wait until you're called on.
I'm gonna slap the dog.
Try that again. All right, go ahead. I'll allow it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna slap the dog. So is a soul tie positive or negative before we get into this conversation?
That's a question that we were gonna get into, but that's a great question to ask. So you can pose that question to whoever you like to first.
No, I didn't want to. I just wanted to before we go.
I think it's a good question. So
it's a very good question.
Whose take would you like on that first?
I'm gonna go with the oldest queen. She's 62 this year.
We said season is what we had decided on.
Baby.
We had agreed on season.
No, I think it can be negative, and I also think it can be a positive thing too. Because it's maybe so. I think I can, and when I say that, I mean that either sexually or spiritually, it could be negative or positive. And I'm saying that because if you're with somebody's on the sexual side of it, some of these women and some of these men's, yes, they can kind of get obsessed with you, and that's where that fatal attraction comes in at.
Ain't that the truth?
Because there's power in the.
All right,
that's the truth.
That's real.
In the face.
Some months I don't even pay my utility bill because I don't want folks to think I'm living here no more.
That's enough.
All right. These just jokes, people. I'm a professional. Don't you try this shit at home. Okay, Mika, who next?
Let's go with Teg, and then we'll end with the baby queen.
All right.
King Dog.
So yeah, I think as a result of this topic, most people who, as soon as they heard soul ties, they immediately attached a negative connotation to it.
Right.
Immediately.
Yes.
Right. And it's just not like that. Soul tie can be an extremely positive thing. Right. And I'm going to save some of this answer because it's going to get into some of the questions that we're going to answer later. But absolutely. And if your frame of mind is right, and if your faith is set up right, and your relationship with your Lord and Savior is right, then most soul ties are going to be of the positive variety. That's my answer. And I'm sticking to it.
I'm going to stick beside him.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I think it can be positive or negative, but I absolutely agree with what Ted says. said about it, because when you think soul ties, because of what society puts out there, you automatically think of it as something negative, but it can be positive. It just depends on what your intentions are when you go into it. But be ye careful. Be ye careful.
And be ye steadfast and movable and always abounding in the word.
Be ye careful.
In your word.
Is that in the Beatitudes? Be ye careful. And Grace says doesn't have to be sexual, negative if it's ungodly. All right. So now back on me. So that's a good question to lead into this. Do y'all happen to know the types of soul ties? And we're gonna start with the baby queen. Baby queen, are you familiar with any of the types of soul ties?
Types, like, are you talking about like,
that's okay, because
like spiritual? Are you
somewhat
labeling it like that?
Say pass.
The types of soul ties. I mean,
I'm a pass.
Okay.
I guess pass,
Nikki,
because that's my thought is like emotional, spiritual.
Right.
Those are how you describe types.
Boy, I thought when we just started typing, I thought she was finna tell Linda business, boy. She's a Linda of always, and I was finna say, ooh, she finna tell it on teaser or pleaser. That was pleaser back in the day. I think.
Linda pleaser.
She says Linda has always said that her and Bo were spiritually connected. Okay, and so that may be either a twin flame. So the types of soul ties that are out there are twin flames,
or soulmates,
kindred spirits, soulmates, right?
Okay.
And then those can be further broken down into marriage, business, sex, and friendship. But again, twin flame, kindred spirit, and soulmate. We won't get too into what those mean, but basically, twin flame it's similar to kindred spirit, but it's like somebody who's exactly like you. You know, it could be one of your coworkers, and you meet her, and you're like, God, dog, if this girl ain't exactly me, you know.
But that's another trend too.
Yeah. That almost choked me. Then it could also be someone of the opposite sex, right? You know, one of the things that I've had to grow into over the years is that male-female friendship situation, right? And it's still sketchy depending on who in it, but you know, anyway. So twin flames, a kindred spirit could just be somebody who, you know, y'all tend to be in the same spiritual situation. Y'all seem to be drawn to each other or whatever from a spiritual standpoint. And then soulmate. And again, a lot of people think soulmates have to be an intimate connection, but it does not have to be. You can have a soulmate that is of the same sex and there's no, you know, connection at all. Okay. And then again, like I said, they are further broken down to being marriage, business, sex, and friendship, right? Okay. So now that we kind of know some of the types of soul ties, right? And I'm sure if you go down this rabbit hole, it'll open up into a whole bunch of stuff, right? But if we are living a spiritual life, you got to pay attention to the soul tie situation. So I'm going to start with Lee on this question. Now I'm going to start with Nikki on this question. Do we unknowingly have soul ties with people? Do we unknowingly have soul ties with people?
Yes, I think that we do. I think that we do. I think that's possible.
Okay. Mika, do we have unknowingly have soul ties with people?
Yeah. And I'm going to just be honest with you. I didn't know all of those types of soul ties. So as you think about it, you're like, oh, shoot. I might have a soul tie with this person.
No question.
I might have a soul tie with this person.
No question. Oh, so, and I'm glad you said that. So another thing too is sometimes you can have a soul tie with family members, right? Right. And it is the way God created it to be. It is a reason why you happen to be like some people say, you know, you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends and all that other kind of stuff. Well, yeah, you might can't choose it, but God can choose it. Yes. So sometimes there's a specific reason why two particular spirits are in a family. So to speak to what Weeda said regarding Linda and Bo, there's a good possibility that if that was the case, there's no accident that they were put in the same family. Right. And if you don't know about Linda, this is what is so strange about Linda doggone Trailer. In some of the most pressing and trying times of our family, this individual has been there and been the calm in the storm.
Absolutely.
Let you give a 3-month-old a little piece. Let you give a 3-month-old a little piece of banana, she gonna freak out.
Yeah.
Don't get that baby that, you know. And it's just the strangest thing.
Right.
But let some real
That's
jump
very
off.
true.
She's gonna be the calm in the storm.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that is super
Totally agree.
interesting to me. But
and
again,
you can say that about Bo too. So yeah.
So again, you know, like I said, it could be again family, you know, where God specifically said, you know, okay, these people, they do have soul ties, they're in the same family, it was no accident, you know. You know, matter of fact, could anybody argue that twins got soul ties?
Oh, right. No, nobody.
You know, how many
Right.
twins probably don't, you know. It's probably that thing that no one can explain why it exists within, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead. I think I interrupted. We started with everybody gave that answer about, or Lily, you didn't get an answer.
Alicia did.
Do you think we can unknowingly have soul ties?
Mika, were you still going?
No,
you did. Yeah, I think that you can unknowingly have soul ties with somebody. I think it's an exchange of energy. So I think it's sometimes you don't even know how you affect a person or what you mean to a person, that you may not feel like that's a soul tie, but they could be spiritually or emotionally connected to you, and you really not even know that. So I think you absolutely can.
And energy is a key word on this topic.
Energy
is very key in this topic, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times that's what's going to give you the indication of what's there, you know. Okay, so Lily, I'm gonna start with you on the on a little further with that. So we said we unknowingly have soul ties. Do we unknowingly then, as a result, do we unknowingly maintain soul ties?
Oh, yes, I think we do. Because even if you think back to Mika's favorite thing sexually, right?
Yeah.
I think if you even think back to what she said sexually, you think about people out there saying, "Oh, I'm having my whole phase in life," right? So they sleeping with different people, but you never know what type of exchange of energy is going on between these people. So you got to be very careful when you are living your whole life, your best whole life, or whatever.
Another thing too, if you announced your whole life being on, your ass better announce it being off. Don't somebody may not know it's off. Yeah, you done turn the switch on and never turn the switch off.
Yeah, so it's just
the whole phase been on for 52 years.
You can be in your mind, have it made up.
Why you have to say 52 years?
See, I knew. See, let me say this. The old folks say a hurt dog a holler. If you throw a rock in a pack of dogs, you know the one you hit because they go,
But yeah,
I think Walker said very true. Wait a minute, she done changed her last name. Okay. Nikki, that's your friend, ain't it?
Hey, Keisha. Yours too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
He's such a jerk. After that, I would not be his friend.
Yeah, she's not. I'm gonna tell her to break up with him.
All right, Nikki. So to you, do we unknowingly maintain soul ties?
Yes, I think that people do, because I agree with everything that Alicia said, because there's a lot of people who really don't think that that's possible, but I really truly believe that it is possible, because I've heard somebody has told me this before, that they didn't think that was possible, but I've always thought that was possible. Was like to have,
you said somebody told you like the exchange of energy is not possible. Oh, okay,
it's not, but but I've always believed that it is very much so.
And I know there are a lot of people who do not believe that unknowingly maintaining a soul tie is possible. Right. A lot of people don't believe that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got news. But Mika, what about you? You think now let me say this, okay? In case the viewers haven't noticed, I don't notice Mika done show been frowned up. Her brow has been furrowed the entire show. Okay. So
I think she's learning some things.
So can you answer the question?
I can. And I think people do unknowingly maintain soul ties and don't know why. Have you ever met somebody who's been mad at somebody for 20 years and it's their ex, or it's their somebody that they, had a relationship with, or whatever the case may be, and it may not. And they don't know how to say, I have this soul tie to this person, and it's a negative soul tie.
Yeah.
And they're upset about that, and they're maintaining that because they carrying that energy still.
Right. And forgiveness is key.
Oh yeah.
Forgiveness is key on their part.
No question. And we will get into that later. Okay. But that is 100% correct. So everybody's answered that question, right? Do we unknowingly maintain soul ties?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think there's no doubt about it. We unknowingly maintain. And if you think about mental health and even physical health, to be perfectly honest with you, let's see.
Don't forget about the physical aspect.
I need to ask.
Wow. Mika Rittenhouse.
Wow. So anyway, let me just say this. So
Mika fell in love with him.
So when you talk about mental and physical health, one of the things that they talk about is knowing is half the battle, right?
Right.
So if you're going to easily unknowingly maintain soul ties if you don't even know you have one, right? So it's much easier to maintain. And that's going to segue me into the next question. Are our soul ties powerless if we don't acknowledge them or believe in them? You know, Nikki, I'll start with you after I read this next comment. So I'll ask it again. Are our soul ties powerless if we don't acknowledge them or believe in them? So if somebody doesn't believe in soul ties, like they said, hey, I don't think this exists, or if they don't acknowledge them, are they powerless or do they still have power? But let me get this, a couple of comments out first. Grace says, I run into spiritual vampires who come under the pretense of wanting prayer, and I didn't know. As the connection continued, I was like, this is trash. However, you have to sever the ungodly soul ties and ask the Lord to send the godly soul ties. All right. Paul said, hey, family, it's me.
That's why mama and dad always say you don't let everybody put hands on you.
Right. Yeah. All right. So, Nikki, that's the question to you. Are our soul ties powerless if we don't acknowledge them or believe in them? Hey, hang on. The 99 has Stellar Rose people. What?
The 99 cents.
The 99 cents.
Oh my
making
gosh.
an announcement.
Don't nobody want that juice.
Wow, exactly. Yeah, we on to something else. All right, go ahead. Are our soul ties powerless if we don't acknowledge them or believe in them? Just because you don't believe in them, or just because you don't acknowledge them, do they still have power?
Yeah, I think they still have power, whether you acknowledge them or not, or even if you know about them. I think that they do have power.
Okay, Mika, what you think?
Really do.
I think they have power because you don't acknowledge them. So you're not, calling them out and speaking against them, and trying to see what where it stems from. So yes, they have power because you're not acknowledging them, and you can't correct it or try to fix it or address it, I should say.
Okay, Lily, you think they still got power, whether you know it or acknowledge or believe in them or not?
Absolutely, and I agree with what Mika said at the end. They have power if you don't address them, so that gives them even more power. So I absolutely agree with that.
But how can somebody correct them or acknowledge them if they don't know about it?
They can't necessarily, but that's where you have to. And again, it depends on who we're talking about, right? Are we talking about, somebody who's Christian or lives a spiritual life, or are we talking about a non-believer, et cetera, et cetera? But as a Christian, that's one of the reasons why, and we could be guilty of it just as easily, right?
Right.
Because you got to be honest, some people hadn't heard of the word soul tie in their entire life until 5 or 6 years ago, right?
Right.
Again, if you don't know about it, that's one of the reasons why it is important that you surround yourself with like-minded individuals.
Absolutely.
And from a spiritual standpoint, that are going to always lift you up in prayer, whether you know about it or not. See, I'm the kind of individual, I don't need to know what the Lord done told you about me and that you done prayed about over me, because I have faith enough to believe that I'm covered. Right. And so as long as your faith is good, same thing for me. If I pray over somebody, I don't need their faith to be good for it. Mine was, so again, we can operate with soul ties, not knowing it. And those soul ties can have power. No question about it. But again, you got to live your life in a way that you cover all that kind of stuff. Right.
And I think the people Nikki, kind of where she was going, the people that don't know about it aren't spiritually connected, or they don't want to acknowledge it, or they're just out here living reckless, right? And we talk about that. Just
and they haven't gotten there yet, right?
Exactly.
You know, there's a such thing as enlightenment, and when people that bulb comes on to where people start tuning into those things that are spiritual. So
and that's what Mama would say. Just keep on living.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, we got H-Rap in the building.
Hey, H-Rap.
Everyone, what's going on?
Hey.
We got Golden Brooks living a life like it's golden.
Hey,
beautiful lady. And hey, Doc, what's going on? And H-Rap again, just say it's Queens and King show ran longer. Okay, no problem, brother. No problem. All right. So, Lily, we're going to start with you on this. Have y'all ever knowingly had a soul tie? Have y'all ever knowingly had a soul tie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
I think
See, I almost wanted that yes to be the whole I don't got nothing else to say, but yes, next person there.
Yes, I think it has. I think I've seen it be positive and negative.
Y'all look at Mika's face again.
I think it's been
both
positive and negative.
You've been doing this the whole show.
Yeah, man. There's something up with that.
Look, tell her like you told Mama, you on the show. Act like
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mama was acting like she was looking at it.
Mama was looking like this is a good show. Hey, you in it.
But yeah, I think you can. I've experienced both positive and negative, but I think it took for me being spiritually aware to know where that negative source lied. So I had to pray about that and pray against that.
Right,
but I think I've seen it from both standpoints.
Right. All right, Mika, have you knowingly had a soul tie?
Yeah.
Oh, she's
you all right?
Yeah.
She's still hurt.
See, that's wrong there. I wouldn't have said that, but I'm the jerk. But I'm the jerk, huh?
But she know I mean it in love.
Yeah. I did. But I didn't know it was a soul tie, like you said, until a few years ago. We didn't speak about soul ties, and I know
that's right.
And it was just, I feel connected to this person for some reason. I feel I can't shake this person. I can't, and it's a soul tie. And this, you know, I have some great soul ties that, you know, now that I'm thinking about it.
Right.
But it's been a couple where you like, Jesus.
Right.
Take it away.
You could, you know, and again, I don't know all of it, but from a friend standpoint, you could even possibly call Bobby that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, or a kindred spirit or something of that nature, right? You know, so that may be one of the positive ones.
Yeah.
He ain't always funny, but you know, everybody can be.
That's my brother. When he got a kidney, we all got a kidney.
Well, I would tell him I need to borrow it for a few days then. Wow. And I'm saving this other comment. Okay, Nikki, I want you to answer that question. Have you ever knowingly had a soul tie?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, I feel as though my soul tie that I have that is knowingly is my best friend Timberland. That's my main one that I knew of since high school, since high school. And then I also had another one, but I don't want to mention it, but yeah.
Sheesh. We not hurt though.
I ain't hurt. Girl, I'm healed
and
now.
And on that note, let's take a commercial break.
No, but listen to this. This is somebody that was actually older, an older man. So you see what I'm saying? So it could be, they can have a different effect on you. Like Ted.
And I'm gonna say this: when people of a certain age say, "You see what I'm saying?" It's some shit into that, okay?
Yeah, you see,
when they say, "You see what I'm saying?" It's something to that.
Is an older man.
Yeah.
I started looking like me.
Yeah, so he had some soul ties with some younger ladies too. Probably.
Let's go ahead and you can quit now. I would suggest stop talking right now. That's what I would suggest.
I can't wait till we get off.
I can't tell you what to do, but if I were you, I would stop now.
No, it's older man. Is he?
I'll tell y'all about it one day.
See, there's always one in the crowd that try to get you to keep drinking. One more drinking, one more shot ain't gonna hurt you. And she want to keep talking. I'm saying quit. It's up to you what you want to do.
Yeah.
No, I'm just letting y'all know. Hey, God sometimes wants us to tell our testimony. I didn't go into the whole testimony.
Wow.
I just said that it can happen. So beware.
Well, Keisha went into her whole testimony because she said this guy claimed he had a soul tie to me. I figured I just put it down really good because my soul definitely wasn't tied.
Yes, Lord.
Wow.
Yes, Lord.
Now I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay.
Because of what Keisha just said.
Okay.
Do you have a soul tie to anybody that you have a sexual experience with?
That's a great question, and I prepared for that answer, but I'll let anybody else who want to jump in first.
I'm not prepared for it, but I probably think that you could.
Yeah, you could. Lily, what's your take on it?
I think that you do. It's an exchange of energy. No matter, but if you going into it not thinking nothing of it, you're still exchanging energy with that person.
But have you ever tied your shoes and just been walking around all day, and all of a sudden you look down and it's like, damn, my shoe untied.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though you might have had a soul tie with somebody because you exchanged that energy, that doesn't mean it's lasting, right? That doesn't mean it lasts longer than they ass walking out the door.
Especially if it wasn't good.
Okay. Now, can I get a 20? This is the second show in a row. I had to take a 20. Hey, can I get a 20? Can I get a 20 rep?
She's at the
altar. Hey, last night on the forecast, I had to take a 20-second timeout. I don't know who it was because of being a mayhem. I don't know. But I need a 20 right now, Rip. Come on, y'all. Let's talk about this.
I'm just saying.
No, but I'm telling you, Mika, in my estimation, no. In fact, after I had already sent in all my notes to be printed and stuff like that, I came back, and one of the first things I was writing down, Nikki, you noticed we were writing as soon as you got in, I was writing. And my first note that I wrote to add to my notes was, you won't have a soul tie with everyone you've had sex with. That is not the case. Just simply because you had sex with them, you won't have a soul tie with them. You may temporarily have one, but it ain't going to maintain.
But
and there's a lot of factors to that. There's a,
But you still have one.
Yeah, but I'm
saying that it's lasting, but you still.
Yeah, and I'm telling you like this. Some of them you got to understand those. This is the aspect that I want you to look at. Right, is the strength and weaknesses of those spirits that you're dealing with, right, or the dormancy of them. So if a spirit is asleep, dormant, et cetera, does it have the ability to attach to anything? Right. So again, and we're talking about the entire plethora of people and types that you could possibly sleep with. Yeah. So I'm saying sex alone is not enough, right? Just because you had sex with somebody, it ain't gonna be there, right? And because
like I said, for that other person,
either. Again, and there, okay, that's a good question too, because maybe your spirit may have attached to them because your spirit is this strong thing, but theirs is weak. They ain't in touch with it. They may not even believe in nothing, Right. So they don't have that power to do anything, I openly declare that I am this thermostat, right? I'm not a thermometer. I don't enter a room to check the temperature to see what everybody gonna do. When I walk into a room, I'm setting that thermostat, to make sure the energy gonna be good. So it's some people who don't operate like that, and they are asleep from the inside out.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion. I don't have no proof of this, but this is my opinion. And I believe the next note I wrote too, I said some are more prone to soul ties than others. It's some people to where if these jokers sit next to you on a bus, they gonna get a damn soul tie with you. Just because they more prone to it, right?
Thirsty for the soul tie.
There you go. And that may be that undeveloped. Now check this out, okay? Because again, there's some folks in this chat room that know when I start talking like this, this is not King Dog talking. I promise you, right? So it is this spiritual thirst from the undeveloped spirit, right? So they got this, they don't even know it. And that's why it's unquenchable, because it's undeveloped and it's this thirst. So again, you can be sitting next to them on a bus and these jokers seem like they pulling in fact, there's a show out now where there's a draining vampire. That's his power. He just drain your energy. That's all he do. He ain't gonna bite you. He ain't gonna do nothing. He just gonna drain your energy.
I know some people.
We all know somebody like that.
That's why he's a character. That's why he's a character. But again, I'm gonna say this again. The undeveloped spirit, may have a tendency to gain them soul ties. Again, they're more prone to it because their spirit is undeveloped.
and
for their spiritual relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And we got D Great in the building. I've been trying to acknowledge him. What's up, D Great?
Hey.
And Golden Brook says, Jesus, Margaret, and Mary take it away. And Priscilla always snitching in this chat room, talking about
Yes, Miss Priscilla.
All right. Keisha says you can if you allow it. If I know I have an itch that needs to be scratched, I just go in with my pimp mentality. Hey, she's being a joke. She's joking about this.
But that's real, though.
But she's basically saying I can protect myself from attaching soul ties. I'm saying this is going to be what this is.
Right.
I'm not allowing this to happen. I'm going to pray after it. I'm going to et cetera, right? So that's something.
And that's possible too.
This is another good one. I had this thought when I was preparing for it. So it's the answer to that question, right? You know, to where do you have one every time you have sex, right? So she goes, so Brandy says, I think men can avoid a soul tie because they have the ability to have casual sex, which is kind of what Keisha just said, right?
Right.
For women, there's normally an emotional connection, and I feel soul ties have some form of a connection with emotions as well. I think that's well said.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got Nicholas Ivory in the house. What's up, Nick?
Nicholas.
How are you? H-Rap is laughing at something that somebody said. So Golden Brick's probably me because I'm the funniest one. We did win the funniest podcast on BS3 Network. So let's see. There you go. See, Derek's on that. Pastor Derek Smith. If you are not tuning into him on Sunday mornings, I believe it's at 10 or 10:30 on BS3 Network. When I say constantly dropping nuggets, do not miss his show. The undeveloped spirit is the one prone to codependency. Right on it. Right on it. He just said it better than I did. A-Trap says, I'm going to just stay itchy because it's good. Because it's good, I'm going to want to keep doing it. If it's good, I'm going to keep doing it. All right.
It's all right, A-Trap.
Let's see.
Because I guess it can develop. Soul ties can develop over time. That's why I said.
I mean, they can strengthen over time.
Yeah,
for sure.
they can strengthen over time.
You keep going back for more.
Right.
You can strengthen that thing.
All right. All right, Lily. Let's get a quick segment in here. It's time for the Baby Queen segment.
Streets of talking.
She never know when I'm gonna end it, so she was real offbeat at the beginning of that.
She had to catch that beat.
All right, Lily, what you got?
All right. So I know you guys have probably heard. So this weekend, I saw this video shared at least 50 times. About the Baltimore man who killed his ex-wife and his ex-wife and his ex-girlfriend before turning the gun on himself. So he was in the profession of, he was a nurse. Him and his wife were going through a custody battle. And supposedly, according to him, he went live as he was doing everything. So he killed the ex-girlfriend because she was pregnant with his unborn child and already threatening him not to see the baby and not to be a part of the baby's life. And he said he couldn't be a father out here without his seed knowing him, basically. And so he went on live as he's standing outside of his ex-wife's townhouse and basically said, my ex-wife created this monster. This is why I am what I am today. She said that I've been touching my kids inappropriately and trying to make him out to be this molester and things like that. And she was trying to gain full custody of him, basically. So as he's talking, he was like, I'm about to go in and kill her. I've already killed my ex-girlfriend. I'm about to go in and kill her. I can't go to prison, so I'm going to kill myself after I kill her. But you're not going to keep me away from my kids and all this kind of stuff. So he was basically warning women, saying that women create these circumstances, right? Basically, if she hadn't talked that way about him, that everybody would still be living their happy life. So the live ends when she's opening the door. She's coming out to get the kids from the car, because he has the kids like parked 2 doors down so they can't see what's going on, but they're locked in the car. So she opens the car and he was like, oh, here's my ex-wife right here. And you can see her try to run back in the house, but she doesn't close the door. And he goes into the door and said, today is the day, and the live turns off.
Wow.
So he kills her, kills himself, and now both of their children are left without a father and a mother. And he also killed his ex-girlfriend, who was carrying another one of his children. So the thing that was going around on Facebook that I thought was interesting, and I wanted your take on it, was, do you feel that the wife is the culprit behind it all? So they said that she was to blame for the entire situation. That's how he tried to portray it. But I'm like, we're failing to also make him accountable for his actions, because you didn't have to go about it that way, right? There was other ways that this could have been taken care of, but he saw one way out, and that was just to kill everybody involved.
Yeah.
So,
well, in my opinion of this situation, blame does not have to be mutually exclusive, right? You know, there's enough to go around. So obviously, ultimately, at the end of the day, the majority of the blame falls on him, right? Because it's almost like, if you think about insurance, right? Whoever had the last opportunity to prevent the accident is going to be getting some fault, right? So he had the last opportunity to prevent whatever happened to happen, right? So you got to place the blame squarely on his shoulders. However, were they a contributing factor in this situation? And see, I think his warning to women is a good one. Be careful on what you put out there, how you speaking about individuals.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, here's something I'll give you, right? You broke up with them for a reason. You saw some reason that said they are not a worthy partner for me going forward. Right?
Exactly.
So you don't know what your words are going to trigger in them to water that seed of them not being a worthy partner. So you don't want to go be putting your mouth on folks and stuff like that, triggering whatever may be lying dormant that you don't even know about.
Exactly.
You know, so I just don't see it'll ever be a good turnout when you start talking about somebody in a bad way, whether it be to your kids, whether it be on social media, whether it be to your friends and family, their friends and family, ain't no future in it. Right. And it goes back to what we've been told from day one. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say
nothing at all.
That's true.
Go ahead, Mika.
No, I was just gonna say, and that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking that already. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. You know, sometimes when people break up with people, you ain't got nothing to say, girl. Why you ain't said nothing? You ain't.
It just didn't work out. I had a whole bunch of stuff to say on breakout sometimes, but I'm not. Hey, it just didn't work out.
Because I don't want nothing getting back to that person.
Of reasons.
That I don't want any negativity coming from it. I don't want to be. It's not a major situation. If stuff don't work out, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah,
and last thing, I don't get why when people want to kill themselves, take you out, bruh. Why everybody else gotta go?
Yeah, because now I'm like, now you've left those kids without either one of their parents. Like, why you still not here? You're still not here to defend yourself in any type of way. All you see is the live video, and watching the live video gave me goosebumps because you can just see it in his face, like, oh, this is going down. Like, as soon as you open this door, it's done.
And we know mental illness and the treatment thereof is still lacking. So you don't know if there's been some undiagnosed mental illness that he has been dealing with. So you can't be talking. I mean, you need to be chill.
But the trauma that those kids are going through right now.
Yeah.
So imagine, let's say, for instance, that kid, one of those kids, they grow up, they're living in the system, they're in foster homes, in and out, don't know what's happening inside those foster homes, don't know if they're getting the proper therapy to be able to deal with this situation. Is there even therapy enough to deal with this situation?
Right.
Who do they turn into as adults? What's going to trigger them? You know, again, you can easily say how many things can go wrong when you start talking this crazy trash about one of your exes and stuff like that. Very few things are going to go right because you talked about it.
Yeah.
So save it.
Yeah. It's just super sad all the way around. And
definitely.
I saw a lot of people different takes on it, but one of the takes that I really took away, and I actually even agree with what Ted said when he said, watch how you talk about people.
Right.
And that's so true. I understand, like, his actions were his actions, and I'm not excusing that whatsoever. But we have to be careful how we maneuver in this situation. It was already heightened because it's a custody battle, right? So you're trying to fight for your kids, and some people that's the one thing
that's
to
all
take them out. Yeah,
that's all they need.
That's the one thing to take them out. So thought that was a pretty interesting story.
We got DJ Easy Ice in the house. Brian Watts, what's up, my man? Hadn't talked to you in a while. Glad you tuned in. And again, we had Ben Sutter III, the gentleman who put BS in BS3 network. H-Rap said the same kind of thing happened in Gary, Indiana. 63-year-old man raped a 70-year-old woman. She goes to file a report. He waits in her car and killed her.
Oh my God.
Let's see. And we put this up, but I didn't read it out. Jeremy said his mind was already corrupt for him to go straight to that resolution.
That's right.
Yeah, he had some issues.
Right.
What did what you say cause that? You know, again, we would be remiss if we didn't, address the contributing factors.
Yes.
Pastor Smith says, I saw Yanla fix my life. I'm not going to fight you for your healing.
Yes, I love that.
Where a mother lied and said that her kid's father touched one of their daughters inappropriately and she hurt her daughters in the process. Exactly. And he says, men are extreme beings. That's why the highest number of suicides is committed by men.
Yeah.
Okay, good point. Keisha said, oftentimes we women can honestly provoke men into doing a lot of unthinkable things. Then we act like we're the victims. And Rita says, I think we're probably thinking, if I can't see my kids, she can't either. He wanted revenge on the women.
Well, now neither one of them don't see them.
Easily.
Now, neither one.
Neither one of them don't see them.
Fight it, Lily, over there. I see you struggling over there, boy.
I'm just going to take a drink.
Yeah, Tangela said, let's not forget. I see it with these new prescription glasses now.
All right, Tangela.
She said, let's not forget mental illness is hereditary.
Right. Yes, it is. So now you got to watch the kids.
One of the reasons I brought that up. All right, so let's put a nice little bow. It is Christmas on this soul tie situation.
Come on, Bo.
And I want to remind you, which I don't do enough, but please, 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 please click the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. This past week, I believe we hit a milestone on our Roku TV channel subscriptions and downloads. So please download the Roku TV channel. It is BS3, I think it's Space TV, BS3 Space TV. Do a search and you're adding a channel on your Roku device. And BS3 TV will be there. Add us. You can watch Queen3 and King live on that. In addition to all those we have, in addition to all of our old archived shows as well. Well, up to 10 episodes of them, I believe. So please click the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Again, we are wrapping up Soul Ties, this episode of this show. So we're going to just talk about how to break a soul tie. We've talked about what is meant by soul ties. We talked about the types of soul ties. We talked about unknowingly having soul ties, unknowingly maintaining soul ties, and knowingly having soul ties and things of that nature. So now what I want to talk about, and Mika, we'll start with you on this. How do we break a soul tie? And again, this is not a professional opinion that we're giving out. None of them have been. It has just been our personal experience. And God-given information. So again, I would suggest that you do your own research like we did. Mika, what you got? How do we break soul ties?
I think the first thing you do is to know what a soul tie is. Be able to define it. Be able to say, I believe this is a soul tie. I believe this. So define it. Be able to know exactly what it is. And I think sometimes you have to go to a professional, whether that's a therapist whether that's a pastor, and in prayer. I think those three things, because with negative, and I'm talking about negative soul ties. You want to keep your positive soul ties, of course, but I'm talking about negative. Just be able to know what it is. Go to a professional or a pastor, and then pray about it.
All right. Nicole, how do you break a soul tie?
I'm gonna go back to what I brought up earlier in the episode about forgiveness on those soul ties that were not good soul ties, that you have to forgive first. Forgiveness, I think, plays a really big part of breaking that soul tie, the soul ties. So we got to forgive, and forgiveness is actually for you. It's not for the other person. It's for you. So we need to forgive. So that's just it, in my opinion. I think we just need to forgive.
Well, I like it. Lily, how do you break a soul tie?
I agree. You need to acknowledge it first. You have to know what it is. And also know that is it coming from a negative or a positive place. You have to recognize and kind of categorize that in your life too, to know how to maneuver. But then, like Mika said, sometimes it is bigger than you, right? So you have to bring other people in, but sometimes it's as easy as praying to God to remove those negative soul ties out of your life. And just really pressing on that and believing that. So.
Right. Okay. So we have touched, there are actually 4 medically suggested ways on how to, and I say medically and spiritually suggested ways on how to break a soul tie. And we actually covered at least 3 of them just in y'all's answers. Right. One of them is acknowledge that it's there. Right. And remember what we've said earlier, that knowing is half the battle about so many issues we face, so many struggles we face in life. Knowing is half the battle. So you got to acknowledge, right? Decide you're going to do something about it. Mika kind of talked on that, right? When she says, I'm going to go seek therapy, et cetera, et cetera. That falls into that category. You've acknowledged it. Now, now that I know it, I got to do something about it, right? So that's another step, deciding to do something about it, whether that be prayer, whether that be therapy, whether that be whatever the case may be, talking to a friend, et cetera, et cetera. Forgive. Nikki touched on it earlier. It is one of the suggested ways to break a soul tie, because sometimes your soul ties are soul ties because you are being unforgiving. Right. And you are keeping them attached to you.
Yeah.
You keeping them attached to you. They're not keeping themselves attached to you. You are.
That's
right. So forgiveness is huge in so many different walks of life. And if you don't get anything out of any of the shows that we've ever done or we will ever do, operate in forgiveness. If you have a problem with forgiveness, let that be your mission critical one. Learn to start forgiving folks.
Right.
And then finally, it says break the soul tie. Well, some people want to make that so complicated, right? Sometimes, we operate from a spiritual standpoint and from a Christian standpoint, right? You can just simply say, in the name of Jesus, I break any soul ties that are, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't have to be some complicated, I got to walk 3 paces, then turn to the left, then I got to look toward the east sun, then I got to get down on one knee. It ain't got to be all that stuff. It ain't got to be. We try to make things so complicated and so spiritual and so all this. And the word says, speak things that be not as though they were. You shall have what you say. So just simply say it. I break that soul tie with you. Right? In the name of Jesus, now, of course, you want to restore yourself to righteousness first. So in every prayer, tell him how much you love him and adore him. Then ask for forgiveness for whatever you've done.
Yes.
Restore me to righteousness. That way, whatever you speak, you're speaking in righteousness. You're not speaking from a place of sin on you. You're speaking from a place of cleansing, right? From being cleansed. So you can say whatever you want to do. Grace said, walk around this 10 times. Matter of fact, I was talking, it might have been Grace I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about that kind of stuff, about how as baby Christians, you got to do all this little bitty stuff. And you got to circle this 7 times to have it and all this other kind of stuff. And the Lord told me one day last week, maybe the week before, he said, son, stop doing all that nonsense. He goes, what you going to do? Now, I done already got blessed with some places that were so big, I had to get in the truck and drive around it. Now I'm circling the walls of Jericho in an F-350. right? And he said, what you gonna do? Get a plane when I increase your territory? At some point, this circling stuff ain't gonna, you don't have to, son. It's not about that, right? So all these little
overcomplicate
that we put on there.
Yeah.
Once you grow spiritually, you understand not necessary. Let's see, we got some good comments here. So Pastor Smith says, treat it like an ongoing condition that you're prone to go back to, like drug addicts do with drugs. That is fantastic.
That's strong.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Golden says, H-Rap tell me all the time, forgive.
Yeah.
H-Rap and I have had plenty of conversations about forgiveness. Probably off of some of our conversations, I'm willing to bet. Grace says, when a soul tie is formed, it runs deeper than you could ever imagine. We take on the attributes of the person, their mood, their frustrations, hurt, etc. I have prayed and asked the Holy Spirit to sever it. Pray. Right.
Yes.
And H-Rap on some of my comments, he says, agreed, Doc. Grace says, y'all, I have an entire prayer written out for this specific topic because I won't be trapped. Let's see. All right, technical difficulties are starting to get me. I'm trying to click too fast. Okay, H-Rap says, okay, next week's show, can we H-Rap get a soul tie, a hug or something? Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, right. And then he says, yes, indeed, Doug. All right. So now it is time for our final thoughts. And we will do what we've done most of this show and start it with Mika today. Then we'll go to Nikki and then we'll go to Lily and I'll wrap us up. Mika, what are your final thoughts on this topic, soul ties?
I hope that y'all found this topic enlightening. And if you've learned like I'm going to go back and write down a couple things that I've learned on this specific topic, especially how soul ties do not have to be negative. And how some soul ties can be beneficial and how you can really just get rid of some soul ties that you don't want. So I hope that y'all have taken something from this. And from my siblings and I, we hope you have an amazing holiday. We wish you the best 2022. Good Lord.
You know what year it's going to be.
She had to think about that.
We done put something on our mind today.
Yeah. Jesus. And we hope that you get all that Santa brings you all that you desire.
Come on, Santa, baby.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. We appreciate you.
Ooh, some of us gonna get some cold, dog.
That's all right. Because guess what? My daddy give me all I want. Santa.
Hurry up, get out here.
I am telling Mama. Miss Priscilla, call Mama.
All right, Nikki, your final thought.
I'm so glad that we did this topic because a lot of people really, truly don't know about soul ties. Because I have people that I worked with before that knew nothing about anything regarding soul ties. And some of them knew, but they just really didn't believe in it. But it's really real. So if you have any encounters with it, like some of us has said, just be able to recognize it, know it exists, pray on it, like Grace said, and I think Tig said the same thing. Forgive, whatever it takes to get unattached from that. Just know that you're able to. Especially prayer is powerful. So prayer changes things, and we all know that. So just pray about it, and again, forgive, because forgiveness will lift a huge weight off of you.
Right.
A huge weight. And I'm not just saying that. I've been there many times, and I know what it would do. So just forgive. Forgiveness is important. And again, like my sister said, happy holidays to all of you and your family. And I pray that you guys stay safe during this holiday season. And I pray that you all know that it's not just about the gifts, but it's about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It's not about the toys and all that kind of stuff. It is for the kids, but for us, we know the true meaning, and teach our kids the true meaning of Christmas.
All right.
Bye, y'all. Thank y'all for watching.
Yeah, before I give Lily the mic for her final thoughts, y'all notice how Mika changed locations today?
Yeah, I seen that.
She didn't want that window behind her when we talking soul ties because she didn't know what was going to come.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the window.
You know she's scary.
Oh, you didn't have to do that.
No.
Look, that's why she looked to the left. All right, Lily, your final thoughts.
Yes, I think just to sum it up, soul ties are real, and we have to acknowledge them. We have to know where they stand in our life, and we have to know to pray against those that are negative, to be out of our life. So it's important not only to pray against that, it's important, like we said, to forgive. It's just important to know that soul ties, that exchange of energy is real, and just it can be mind-blowing, and it can really, like Grace said, I think in her comment, you're exchanging energy with that person, frustrations, their emotion, their mood, all of that. So just be careful when out there experiencing your whole phase. Just be careful with that. But yes, happy holidays to you guys. This has been an amazing year for all of us. This show has been one of the bright spots of my year because we get to interact with y'all each week. So enjoy your family these last couple weeks. Pray for my household. Pray that Blake sees Christmas and gets to enjoy it because I hear him right outside this door. He
gonna see it, and
he gonna get all them gifts that Alicia said he wasn't gonna get.
I done been through getting Blake stuff. I done been through getting Blake stuff 3 times and bought some more stuff for him today. So
see, that's y'all that do
gonna
that.
Make it. That's why we ain't got to worry about Santa Claus. Hey, Santa Claus counting on us. Hey.
Yes, but we thank you guys for your support each and every week.
Appreciate that, Pastor Smith. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if Ben is still tuning in, Mr. Suttereth, Trey, whatever you want to go by, this is where I need some production value before I give my final thoughts. Have you seen Man Talk Mondays? Do you see how clean Pastor Smith and his producer lay it out before he gives his king speak at the end? Come on, man, produce this thing. And so before I get into my final thoughts, I want to echo the sentiments of my co-host who say, you check that out, echo the sentiments of my co-host who mentioned to you about this holiday season. And for me, I'm going to go on and say Merry Christmas, right? And the reason why I'm going to say Merry Christmas is because the word Christmas is broken down into Christ Mas. Mas in Spanish means more. So I'm going to say Merry, more Christ. All right. Priscilla, the snitch of the program who wants to tell my mama every time I cuss is on her. Tell her about the praying part. Tell her about what I said about Jesus too. You ain't telling that, is
the reason.
We love you too. Love to see you.
A great show. I love the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hey, King Speak is bomb, ain't it, Derek? I appreciate it.
Open to all kings.
Yeah. So for my final thoughts, I'll say soul ties are not a new thing. We've talked about it a couple of times here where we recently just started hearing about that over the last 3 to 7 years, let's just say. But it is not a new thing, right? Now, the words which with people describe soul ties and that deep emotional bond formed after intimacy or otherwise, the terminology might change, but the power of a soul tie remains the same. Right. So it don't matter what you call it. Right. They say a rose by any other name will still smell as sweet. Well, a soul tie by any other name is still as powerful. It can still be as dangerous and it can still be as beautiful. Right. So a soul tie can allow a person to influence and manipulate you, even if you are unaware that they are doing so, or if they are unaware that they are doing so. Sometimes those soul ties that we have attached, they ain't got nothing to do with it. They ain't trying to do nothing to you. It just is what it is. So again, if you're going to move on from a situation, you need to truly move on and break those soul ties. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, Queen3 and King will not be here until next year. So we will not see you until 2023. We'll come back with that. 2022.
God, dog.
That's a long hiatus.
So enjoy your holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you. We may pop on a Christmas thing that we have. We might pop on a couple of family, events that we got going on, or New Year's or something like that. It depends on how toasted we get. So we will see you then. Be safe out there.
Me too, Felicia.
Break those soul ties. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next episode of Queen3 and King.
What is she
Lisa needs to be quiet.
That's why I'm ignoring her.
And she really trying to sing low.
Yeah.
You know that little music.
We're not even live no more.
Is that Jesus will fix it? Jesus will fix it.
So we're not live
the
anymore.
Reason for the season.
Well, what the devil was you talking for?
We are live. I just wanted to see how crazy.
Everybody heard your beautiful voice.
All right, say bye to the people.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
See y'all. Smiling or what we doing?
The Queen Bee has arrived.
Show out then. So I'm gonna start with both of y'all's hands right here.
Look for my